Hello and welcome to another episode of Game Night. Tonight we're going to be playing Assassin's Creed 3. Okay, fair enough. Which is going to be interesting. Obviously you're very excited about this because you're a massive Assassin's Creed fan.
Well, I know I've put some weight on, but still, you don't need to be mean about it.
Okay. It's going to be interesting for me also because I've played the first one and part of the second one. And that's about it. That's about as far as things go for me. So the thing with this video is that the fact that it's, if you're a fan, much like you are, like a fairly hardcore fan of Assassin's Creed, then chances are you've already picked up the game and you've already played a decent chunk of it, if not all of it.
Yeah.
So this video is kind of really only for people who are not sure about whether or not to get it, not sure really what it's about, or just who haven't picked it up because they can't afford it, or all that kind of stuff. People just want to know a bit more about it before getting it. Whether it's, I'm guessing it's not a very good jumping on point. The third one.
No.
So
there is quite a lot that went before. I think even from what you see, I think will shock you a bit.
Okay. So spoiler city for those who To be fair, it's the third game. Well, it's not. It's the fifth game. Main game, really, in the series. So if you kind of want to avoid spoilers, I don't know why you're watching this video. So I'd like to avoid spoilers, but we just kind of thought this would be a good game to. It's a high-profile game. We've got to kind of cover it. So, okay. Also, just a quick mention. Thank you for everyone who tuned in for a Halloween special. On Wednesday, that was just unbelievable. We had such a great time. You had a good time. Which
I had a good time.
Kinds of fucked up. But thanks to everyone involved. Thanks to Michelle. You did a fantastic job of editing and doing all the audio and everything. And it actually went more to plan than I thought it would.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Kind of. I was worried because we'd had so much fucking problems with Ustream in the past, and it was kind of all destined to go wrong, really. Other than like the issues we had with live chat, which really wasn't a big deal for us. No,
I was too busy screaming.
Yeah, I think we kind of forgot all about that as soon as we kind of started playing the games, really. But and you can check that out on YouTube, on our channel, youtube.com/Games4All Podcast. If you haven't already seen it, 4 hours of unbelievably fun shit. So it's the last Halloween special we're going to be doing, at least as Games for All, and so it kind of marks kind of end of an era in some ways.
Yeah, but I know you're going to make me do something next year.
Maybe. I'll say. We may put some sort of highlights at the end of this video if you're not too sure where it's going to be worth watching or not. But
it is worth watching.
It is worth watching. Even though it's 4 hours of footage, it's still worth a look. Okay, well, I'm excited. Let's play Assassin's Creed 3.
Let's.
Okay, so Assassin's Creed 3, like I mentioned before, I have only played up to partway through the second one, so yeah,
it's a completely different setting to the second one. New assassin. Yeah. We've got animals this time.
Awesome.
And look, you can interact with them. Cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, this story-wise, it basically picks up straight off of Revelations.
Right.
Don't want to go into too much detail on that, but my advice to everybody is, although the story of Revelations is kind of important, the game actually isn't.
Right.
It felt very much like a sort of a filler.
Yeah.
Compared to sort of Brotherhood, which felt like an expansion to Assassin's Creed 2. Revelations felt very much like filler. This one doesn't. This one is fully fleshed out.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's so well done. So you can see I'm in Boston at the moment. I'm on sequence 6, I think, which is where it first kind of opens up.
Yeah.
Couple of things. No, well, I'll tell you what, I can do this as you've always been able to do. You can like replay missions and stuff. So we'll start right at the beginning.
Okay.
I'll just kind of show you. They went on a lot about how they've completely rebuilt it from the ground up. Oh, okay, that's a bit weird. Never seen that before. he doesn't normally have a bow.
Ah, okay. Wow.
That's still awesome.
Okay, Desmond, while you were visiting Constantinople,
there's a few little graphical issues still, but there always are with the Assassin's Creed games. I mean, you can see sort of his back popping through his bag there.
Yeah.
But hopefully they'll get sorted out in future updates.
Okay.
Like I said, yeah, they spoke that they'd completely rebuilt it up. They'd stripped it down to its bare essentials and rebuilt it as what they thought Assassin's Creed was. It turns out that they rebuilt it pretty similar to the previous games. There's a few little differences, like before where you'd have to hold down the right trigger and A to sprint. You don't need to do that anymore. It's now all pressure sensitive, so the harder you pull the trigger, the faster you run.
Cool.
Which leaves the face buttons free.
Yeah. Yeah.
Your thumb and your thumb.
Yeah.
Free to do other stuff, so you can like pick stuff up on the move and
Awesome.
all that. This is basically when you first get in the Animus, and this is kind of like your, like it says, a refresher course.
Yeah.
Just showing you sort of what's new, what's changed. Free running is now much better. You always had the issues of you jump off in odd directions and all that. It's a lot smoother. They've done a lot of work, and it's sort of kept improving over the last few games really, but it's really good now. They've also got sloping terrain, so that you can fight and run on that affect stuff.
Alright, Desmond, follow the on-screen instructions and kill the 2 Templars.
There you go.
All you have to do here is jump the gap.
As you can see, animations are pretty cool.
Yeah.
They've rebuilt the models and everything, which they sort of did in Revelations, but I think they've done a slightly better job on this. The new setting is probably what's interested most people. I mean, the sort of Renaissance Italy and Constantinople. We kind of stuck with Ezio for 3 games, and this is kind of like everybody's wanted like a fresh start, and this is what it does. I have to admit, there was a lot of publicity when they sort of showed the new assassin. It's like, okay, he's a Native American and all that. What they managed to keep secret was the fact that you don't always play as him. You don't start off playing as him. You start off playing as his father.
Oh, cool.
And the first couple of sequences, like a majority of the tutorial, is playing through his eyes.
Oh, cool.
So I'll just show you the very opening bit, which is kind of the bit that wowed me.
Okay, cool.
That's why I'm back here, just because it is awesome. So, straight from where we were. Could have just gone straight to this, really.
You could have.
But yeah.
The invitation, please. Shall I take your coat, sir?
So yes, we are in London, in an opera house.
Cool.
This really does sort of show off like the crowd and group physics and sort of what they've done with the lighting and everything.
Cool.
As you can see, it's
Good evening, sir. This way, please.
Awesome.
yeah, the new engine, the Anvil Next engine. They said they can have up to, I think it's about 1,000 characters on screen at any one time. Which later on comes in good because they have like the big pitched battles where you have soldiers firing and everything. But at this point you can really sort of see how far along the character models have come.
Yeah.
And all that. I will say this whole section playing as Haytham Kenway, Connor's father, is kind of interesting. It has a sort of fairly big twist.
So you I mean, I'm guessing it's more for story than anything.
Yeah.
The fact that you get to play his father.
Yeah, but it is kind of teaches you the fundamentals again.
Yeah, true.
Like this is Eagle Vision.
Yeah.
And all that. There's your target. But I actually found there's quite a lot of relearning in this, because as well as sort of a few minor tweaks to navigation, combat's seen an overhaul. And whereas it's still pretty much counter and attack, as it was before, they've changed it up slightly. You don't have to hold down the trigger to counter anymore. It's all done with the tap of the B button. So as your opponent's attack, it's kind of like
sit the fuck down, bitch.
Yeah. This guy, he is pretty much kind of a sort of James Bond assassin type dude. He's
that's pretty awesome.
Yeah. But
so that's all very conveniently placed stuff.
Yeah.
I would just put some shit.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. But later on in the Frontier, it's pretty cool because you can like climb up rock faces and trees and stuff now.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Sit and watch the opera.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's funny. I have all those people down there, and no one notices you at all. That's
no, I'm too busy watching the show.
Not true. There's that, I guess.
But yeah, so now you say later on when you counter, you tap the B button and then you tap a corresponding face button to do the specific counter you want. So tap B when attacking. Oh, lock picking. Always good fun.
Yeah, it depends on the game.
Okay.
At least they've made it somewhat more realistic than some games. Yeah.
Basically, you have to hold the sticks in the right directions.
Yeah.
And then jam it.
Right.
But it's sort of the way that they brought everything to life. Everybody feels like they've got their own thing. They perform tasks, and like as you go in here, you look down. The actors are doing their little things and having their own conversations and stage fright. And
it is impressive in a game like this when that's the sort of stuff you expect from a more open world game.
Yeah,
you know, like I kind of want to say a GTA, but not really, because even GTA hasn't really managed that full on kind of living world feel perfectly yet. But
we'll see spring next year.
Yeah, you never know. I personally don't feel they've quite nailed it yet, but yeah, these guys have done a great job. So
yeah,
it does feel as realistic as it can be.
And I say it's just the sheer production value. Although it does have its technical glitches and all that, you can see what they were going for and the amount of work that's gone into it, especially with like the animations and the voice acting and everything. But what I love about the Assassin's Creed games, they built all this kind of mythology and this kind of deep, rich thing, and the fact that we spent the last 3 games with one character, we've learnt to who we've come to know and love, and then they've thrust you here with like new characters and a little bit creepy. You saw nothing. It was really good. I mean, a lot of criticism of game games, they say that the beginning bit is far too long. Because, like I said, you played a bit of Assassin's Creed 2 and you obviously played the beginning bit.
Yeah, of course.
There was a long time that went by there before you actually became the assassin.
I didn't think it was too bad. I mean, from what I've heard as well of this game, it is. There's a lot before you really get into the to the kind of meat and bones of the actual.
But it really,
game.
as well as kind of like reacclimatizing
it's not one of,
to the
it isn't
game.
one of those sort of instant gratification type of games, though, is it?
No,
it's not like
you
a
work
shooter
for it.
or anything like that. It is deeper than that, and it does take time to kind of. Because obviously, like you say, with this, they're trying to tell a bit more of a story, give you a bit more of a background on characters and stuff, and you can't sort of have it both ways. You can't really have that, and I mean, there's enough action there that you've done stuff, you've learned, you've gone through the tutorial, you've done a mission, you've killed somebody, but at the same time, there's exposition and stuff. So
and it really does kind of set up a lot of the background for the character.
That's cool. Yeah, I mean, like I say, a lot of people can complain it's a bit long-winded. I don't know. I haven't played this, but I
mean, we learn a lot about
we
learn a lot about the main character's motivations before he's even born.
Right.
So instantly, as soon as you feel like you know where he came from.
Well, that's obviously what they're trying to portray there. It's quite cool.
Yeah. There you go.
Awesome.
And obviously, from this point, you then book passage to the new world, and there's this whole section where you're on the ship and you have to do various like investigations and running around and a bit of navigation, a bit more climbing, talking to people.
It
fist
does
fights.
sound like they've added. I mean, I know it's as far as the franchise goes, there's always been a certain amount of variety to the gameplay and stuff, but there seems like this time around there's even more. So, like the naval combat and the kind of Civil War type stuff as well. They've kind of, it's not just about settings. It's kind of giving you different gameplay styles to use in those settings as well.
Yeah, and it all feels relevant. I mean, one of my major criticisms with Revelations was that it was pretty much the same game as Brotherhood. They just added a couple of little gimmicks and whatever, like the hook blade and all that. It didn't really feel necessary gameplay wise. It's like, okay, been here, done that.
Yeah.
Bought the t-shirt. Whereas this, they have changed it up and done stuff. I'm going to skip this because it's just talking now.
That's fine.
But we'll get back into the game.
Cool.
There's all sorts of stuff. I mean, like the frontier is kind of what the kingdom was in the first Assassin's Creed. We didn't really have that. I mean, in Assassin's Creed 2 we really had, I think it was 2 big cities, a smaller town area, and like Tuscany countryside bit, and that was it. Here we've got 2 cities and like a farmstead, and then we've got the frontier. Well, this I'm going to have to show you. If you see on the map there in the corner, there's what looks like a bit of paper.
Yeah.
That's one of the collectibles.
Yeah. Okay.
And whereas before, the collectibles would just kind of sit there, these bits of paper blow in the wind.
It's kind of good practice for chasing somebody down, etc. Interesting. But if you stop chasing it, it stops.
I don't think so, no. It just kind of keeps going
Okay,
until
so
it
there could
disappears
be
and
just
it
that anyway.
resets. Yeah.
Okay, got it.
See, I missed it.
Okay, fair enough.
There you go, but yeah, you saw a bit of tree running there.
Yeah.
There you go. Combat wise, animation wise, it's a lot. Connor is a lot different to Ezio. He's really more of an attacker. He's a lot stronger, a lot more aggressive, and can do a lot more things. I mean, before you get like 3 or 4 guards surround you, and all that, and you'd sit there and counter. Now, Connor, like, I feel I could attack those guys and take them down pretty easily, and it doesn't feel too easy. It just feels badass. It's like Batman.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of heavy inspiration from like Arkham City and all that, especially if I show you in a second. You see in the corner I've got tomahawk and pistol.
Yeah.
Pistol is allocated now to the Y button, so I can do that. How they attack. See, there's like a little...
Yeah. Yeah, I see what you mean there.
Crap, didn't know how to get rid of that. Shit. Crap.
Probably wasn't a great idea to
No.
take this fight.
Right, there you go. Well, that was pretty atrocious.
Still though.
But yeah, what they've done is they've given more variety to the types of enemies you've got and how you can counter-attack them.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed always had a fairly deep combat system compared to a lot of games, but yeah.
Yeah. But, I mean, some enemies you can tap B and then X to do just a straight kill. Other enemies will be very resistant to that.
Yeah.
And you need to find other tactics and other ways of dealing with it. And
Cool.
you have all sorts of... Obviously you can still loot people for stuff like you could in the second one. Equipment wise, you hold down the right bumper, you can select like your main weapon and your secondary weapon. Right, you've got things like rope darts and your bow, and you use them for various bits and bobs. But what I'm going to show you, show you a bit of the town. Obviously it's night time now, but what I didn't quite point out earlier is it actually started raining.
Yeah.
There's a weather system in this. And certain times it can get like foggy and rainy, and there's obviously the day and night cycle. Oh, you've got rats walking in the streets that you can step on.
Nice.
Yeah. Also, sort of blending in with the crowds is a lot easier now. So instead of having to find like a group all bunched together, you can just stand in close proximity to like any sort of group of people.
Oh, okay, cool.
And you will just be like one of the crowd. Like.
So in some ways, even though it's the fifth game, they've kind of tried making it somewhat more accessible, even though they really didn't need to, because the only people who really should, in some ways, be playing it are people who are seasoned Assassin's Creed players. So
yeah, but at the same time, Turkey. There you go.
Yeah, fair enough.
But no, obviously it all comes with they want to sort of make everything, sort of improve everything, and
of
do
course,
it all
of course.
change it up.
If you've played,
I
guess.
mean, I don't think it's quite as, pardon the pun, revolutionary as everybody was expecting, but they've certainly changed up enough.
Yeah.
For it.
I don't know what people would be really expecting. I mean, I don't know. From what I can tell, there's enough here. I mean, so I haven't played all the way through 2, or the only bit of Brotherhood I've played, I think, is the multiplayer.
Yeah.
Some of that, and never went near Revelations. So.
The multiplayer on this, although we won't show it in tonight, they've done quite a lot for that as well.
Yeah, I was wondering about that actually.
Which is cool. They've added 2 new modes. Just fast travel here. As you saw there, sort of a map of the city and various things and various missions and stuff popping up on screen. I'm just about to head out to the frontier, which is kind of the main sort of open area.
Cool.
Which I'll show you. But yeah, in multiplayer they've added 2 modes. There's Wolfpack, I think it's called, which is kind of like a horde mode almost, in that you pick your assassin and you're not fighting against others, you're teaming up
Cool.
with other people, cool. And then you have like NPC targets that you need to get.
That's kind of cool. I like that.
Yeah, and then there's a sort of a capture the flag sort of mode where you have to do it in secret and not get caught.
That kind of, I mean, it's like when Brotherhood came out and it had multiplayer and stuff.
Yeah,
it's like, I think probably a lot of people think, oh fuck multiplayer, you know, because it is a very single player focused, it's a very campaign mode focused game. But when you think about what you do within that single player mode, it does lend itself quite well to a multiplayer setting. And I think you can take just about any typical kind of capture the flag kind of game mode that you can find in just about every other game that's out at the moment.
Yeah,
you kind of you apply the kind of Assassin's Creed rules to it and stuff. It makes it that much more fun because it's adding something that those other games don't have, and that's the whole kind of the stealth kind of, I don't want to be, I'm the assassin or whatever, or whatever it is,
Yeah.
Like I say, a lot of Assassin's Creed, the gameplay lends to multiplayer quite well. So, I mean, when Brotherhood came out and it had multiplayer, that was kind of like, I think people initially thought, what's the point?
Yeah.
But when you sit and think about it, it's pretty genius, really. And that was a lot of fun as well.
Yeah, I mean, it is different. A lot of people don't understand that they go out to the full sort of, just running about hacking each other up. But no, there is, if you get into it and can do the whole stealth thing, and play it like an Assassin's Creed game, I find it really rewarding. And
exactly. You get that with any game though. People just
are douches.
Go about and fucking try and kill as many as possible when it's not really about that.
Kill me a raccoon.
Has like this, I mean, don't correct me if I'm wrong, has this hunting kind of stuff been in games before? This is the first time it's
been in an Assassin's Creed game.
That's kind of
it's kind of heavily inspired by like Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah.
I think that they've expanded on it. You can now, you go to certain areas and you can sort of see clues, whatever, so you know what sort of animals are around by sort of their food. So, like you said, I inspected a clue and now I've got a target. I've got them there. Obviously, running up and chasing it isn't working.
No, so you have to kill it from a distance.
Yeah.
Blow that fucker.
And he's just getting further and further away. Let's examine this clue.
So droppings.
Droppings or food or scratchings or broken twigs or whatever.
Oh, a raccoon.
Yeah, now I can set a snare. And it's called bait.
See, that's pretty badass. Really, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So that's like a whole fucking game right there.
Yeah. And there's various missions. You get certain sort of factions that have certain things like frontiersmen and hunters and stuff. And didn't quite get the one I wanted, but there you go.
That's all good.
2-for-1 deal.
Sweet.
But yeah, there's the whole thing. It's like in each area of the frontier there are certain animals.
Yeah.
And you can kind of like get certain challenges associated in each area, like finding all the different animals to hunt. And obviously there are different ways of getting them. It's like certain people later in the game, they'll want deer pelts or whatever, and they'll want good quality deer pelts. Well, yeah, you can go around hunt a deer, you can shoot it with a bow, but if you shoot it with a bow or musket or rifle or anything, you damage the pelt, because obviously it's got a big hole in it, so you need to find ways of killing them without damaging them.
Yeah.
Also, yeah, hiding in grass, sneaking up on animals and people, very useful. Tree running, I kind of wondered how this was going to go, but
it's kind of how you expect, really.
Yeah, it's
pretty much what you would expect. That's cool.
And boom, I'm on a rooftop.
Awesome.
An eagle feather. It's another collectible. But yeah, so tree running, pretty awesome. It feels very smooth, very fluid. Works very well. I just got me a fox. But yeah, that sort of animation, the skinning animation and the bloody corpse, that's straight out of Red Dead.
Yeah.
But this frontier area, like literally that whole place I've been, literally travelled from there to there. That's all the distance I've covered.
Yeah.
This area is huge. It's quite everywhere that's kind of like this Mortal effect. That's map to be discovered. So it's pretty big.
Yeah.
And as you progress through the story, the seasons change, and you get sort of summer, winter, and autumn.
Cool.
And you already have it kind of like in the prologue-y bit, going through in winter. You get snow drifts, which kind of make it harder to run or travel quickly.
Yeah.
Because you're wading through it, and it's deformable as well. So you leave tracks for where you've been. So I think that's an elk. Good fun. It's one of those games where, yes, you can follow the story and follow the plot, and you know, you get all that, but part of the joy of it is kind of just sort of going out and exploring and seeing what you can do and coming up with side missions and collectibles and all that, and there is a lot of scope to do that.
Yeah, I can tell. So I'm guessing there's like a major wrap up to the story.
Yes.
Right here.
This
the fifth game.
Yeah, I will. In fact, yeah, I can show you a little something actually. Obviously, they've said because the whole story revolves around the end of the world in 2012, and we're in 2012. They kind of need to wrap it up.
Yeah.
To stop the end of the world, and that's where Desmond comes in.
Yeah.
Now, this is kind of like your base of operations. You had them in each game, really. You've had kind of an area, hideout, and the last couple of games have all been about finding this temple, which you're now here, and you've set up bases. This in itself is pretty awesome, because when you come in here, you have to put like an object that you find on the floor in this terminal, and it opens up certain areas.
Right.
And big bits of the temple have been locked off and need exploring. So while you're in the Animus, your team are hunting, finding out where these relics are.
Yeah.
And occasionally you'll like come out of the Animus because, oh yeah, we found one, you need to go find it, and you get to do a mission as Desmond.
That's pretty cool.
Now I've only done one so far, but Modern Tower, very, very novel name. But yeah, you can replay them, and you get a chance to sort of travel. I think you travel around the world really trying to find these artifacts, and it's a bit different.
That's pretty cool.
For a shame. Because a lot of people have
If only they knew.
kind of getting annoyed with Desmond because he doesn't really do anything. He had a little bit of action in Assassin's Creed 2,
So let us talk to each other.
and a little bit of kind of navigation in Brotherhood, but not a lot of that. A lot of people have wanted to actually play as Desmond,
Yeah.
and I don't think we're going to get a whole game as Desmond, as far as I know, but you certainly play a lot more of him and do a lot more stuff as Desmond in Assassin's Creed 3, which I think is a good thing. Now the object of this is I have to break into a Abstergo or sort of Templar office to steal one of the artifacts, but I can't go in by a ground level.
Yeah.
So this is Manhattan. I need to get up high enough to parachute
Cool.
into their office. So this is obviously it's a skyscraper under construction. And the elevator only goes up so far. The rest of the way I need to make it go there on foot.
Cool.
So this is mostly just a navigation mission. But you know, it's something a bit different. It's kind of like in the last sort of couple of Ezio games you've had like hidden tombs and crypts and stuff, and kind of like mini puzzle areas,
Yeah.
like dungeons and stuff, and this is kind of their version of that. I think you will get combat in ones down the line where Desmond gets to kick some ass.
That's kind of what I was getting at. Is there will definitely still be more Assassin's Creed, whether it will be
Oh yeah.
with different characters altogether, or
Yeah.
I mean, is this gonna literally wrap up Desmond's story?
This will
or-
wrap up. They've said. Obviously, I've not finished the game,
Yeah.
so I don't know yet. But they've said this will wrap up Desmond's story, and there's still plenty of scope to sort of carry on as other characters and other
Yeah.
assassins. And
That's cool.
you know, the good thing about history is so much of it has
Yeah,
happened in so many places.
Draw from a lot of it, yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I mean, one I'd kind of like to see. I'd kind of like to see a Victorian London, sort of Jack the Ripper-esque
Yeah, that could be interesting.
setting game. And there are lots of people who want like China and
Mm.
Japan. Yeah. So yeah, this is New York,
Crazy.
and I am on top of the building. The whole thing with the previous game, I mean, you've only played the first game, so you're kind of thinking, how does he know how to do all this? He was a bartender.
Well, no, I know that he will come off it after
Yeah.
fucking so many games and being the fucking Animus so long. He's going to have picked up a lot of shit anyway.
Yeah,
But,
yeah. So he's
It's-
basically
it's pretty much his heritage as it is.
Yeah, at this sort of moment in time, he has lived through pretty much the whole of Ezio's life, so he's a fairly accomplished
Yeah.
assassin. And I think a lot of people have like said, okay, so he's had all this training, why hasn't he used it?
Mm.
And now
Yeah,
we're
now
sort
it's-
of
you've got, yeah. Well, no, he's at the point now where you can, I guess.
Yeah.
That's cool. It's kind of good that, yeah, I mean, obviously they're listening to what the fans want, because obviously they can't afford to really make too much of a dud Assassin's Creed game, because it's going to
No.
completely fuck the franchise altogether, and it is a very, very popular and successful franchise, so
Yeah.
I think they want to be careful not to piss the fans off too much,
Yeah.
and listen to them when it's needed.
I think what they said is there was such like a big leap between Assassin's Creed 2 and the original game, and then the following games like Brotherhood and Revelations. It's kind of been more of the same. It's kind of been expansions on that game and nothing
Yeah.
really.
Because it's kind of funny,
No.
even in the first game, thinking way back, I mean, what was that, 2007 or some
Yeah.
shit? I actually really enjoyed that game, but it kind of, it wasn't so much a flop, but it just didn't do as well as I think they hoped. It did really well in Europe.
Yeah,
It did quite well over here, but like stateside, I don't think it did quite so well as they were really hoping to. And the reviews were kind of mixed, and you know, there wasn't people complaining saying there wasn't enough stuff to do. It was too samey. There was like 9 assassinations or something, and it was just kind of the same shit every
Yeah.
time.
yeah,
Which I didn't mind too much, but a lot of people kind of obviously had a problem with that. and obviously, you know, they fixed that with the second one onwards.
Yeah, they made it more narrative based.
Yeah. But I still quite enjoy it. It's one of those franchises I really feel like I really wish I had the time to sink into, like the second and Brotherhood and Revelations, and then this.
They're not small games, and this I think by any stretch of the imagination is probably the biggest one because
There's
quite
so
simply,
much.
they've packed out the disc, and it's on 2 discs. They've had to put multiplayer on a separate disc just to fit the whole main game on it.
Yeah.
So it's definitely going to be like the biggest one. I think the Frontier itself is. I can't remember how many times bigger than the Rome area of Brotherhood, which was until now the biggest area to date.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think there's going to be a lot of payoff with this game. Like this character here pointing the gun. A lot of people have been waiting for him to show up because he's actually from like the expanded universe. He has his own sort of comic about him based around him because the Assassin's Creed, they've created this universe and this mythology, and it's kind of getting really, really huge. But yeah, that was the first Desmond mission.
Cool.
But yeah, so they've done a lot with it, and I'm kind of thinking, so what do I say to like do it justice and all that? But I think need to show you the homestead because what they had in Assassin's Creed 2, you had the villa, which you could then sort of buy and renovate and upgrade, and then in Brotherhood, you could do that to the whole city. And that was kind of awesome. Revelations, you could do it as well, but by then it's like, oh really? I have to do this again?
Yeah.
It's like Jesus Christ! I just kind
of finished doing that shit, and now so you have to
just finished paying for Rome. Now I have to buy Constantinople as well. Here they've kind of scaled it back. You have the homestead, which is not a small area; it's a fairly large area, and you basically build up a little town.
Yeah.
You can do trade. I mean, bring up the map. See, it's not a small area.
Yeah, shit.
By any stretch of the imagination. But where's? Oh no, I'm still at the Frontier. That'd be why. Now I'm going to be at the homestead. Oh, I'm such a doofus.
So you say doofus?
I'm a doofus, yeah.
Fair enough.
Obviously he's at home, so the hood comes down.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah. This is the homestead. Like I said, not exactly a small area. But yeah, you've got kind of got here, and as the more you play, the more you sort of build up and build a little town, and you get various traders and craftsmen. You can then buy their wares and then ship them off and all that, and that's how you get your money and build that up, build your own little sort of settlement. And you've got the manor there, which is kind of your main headquarters, where you'll have all like your weapons and arm or outfits and various things there. But what I really want to show you before we do anything else, a lot of reviews have said that it's really bad sort of loading times, and we see a lot of this screen. Yeah, we do see a lot of this screen, but I think it helps a lot having it installed. It does reduce the loading screen. Right, this here is the Aquila, which is my ship. So this is what the main thing that they unveiled. I think it was E3.
Yeah.
Last year.
It was. Oh, this year.
Well, this year, yeah. It was
back in July.
Yeah.
June, July, around that time.
Yeah. The naval battles and the naval missions. And so obviously we're here. You can also use it to fast travel to the various towns or whatever that you've gone to.
Yeah.
But let's just pick a mission. I've not done any of these yet, so this could go
tits up.
horribly wrong. Yeah.
So it's quite difficult really to sort of show off a game like this.
Yeah, I mean, I was playing through it, and because normally what we do, or what we've done like past couple of times we've done games, like when we did Darksiders, I was like, play from the beginning, just kind of like show you the beginning bit. We couldn't have done that with this because it's 4 or 5 hours before the game even really starts.
Yeah.
So
that's cool.
Okay. Right, you can see in the mini-map there's a kind of like a green line.
Yeah.
Ooh. That's the wind direction. Oh.
That whole thing about it going tits up.
Yeah, it is going there. Like shit. Awesome. Well, that went well.
Yes.
Shit. Okay. Let's try that again.
So you were supposed to be like protecting the other ship, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I realise that
instead
now.
of like fucking right off in a completely different direction, maybe you should stay fairly close to it. It's just strategy for you to try out there.
That wind's slowing us down, and you Get ready, boys! Fire swivel! Ready after fire!
Okay, you've got your two main weapons. You basically fire by the right triggers.
Yeah.
Alright. There you go. Hey.
There you go.
Yeah. This is sort of. There you go. Very sort of short and sweet. But no, it's kind of cool. The training mission, they show you a bit about the wind direction and steering through obstacles and stuff like that. Also, I had to use the guns and target and do the various things. I know that you can upgrade the weapons, and cause you can get like different shots. You can get like chain shot, which takes out masts, so you can then board ships, and grape shot, which takes out the crew on those ships. But what we didn't really see there is the weather changing.
Yeah.
Which would have been awesome, but you know, they're fairly short and sweet, so let's just find out what's happening near the lighthouse. Go on then. But in that first sort of training mission where you're doing it, you you do get ambushed by ships and the weather picks up and you get the big waves and you really get the sense of
That's pretty bad.
it.
Yeah, because that's kind of what they showed off, and it was like
Yeah.
pretty awesome. So is that stuff randomised then, or is it like you pick a certain thing to do and this one's it's all choppy and shit?
I had absolutely no idea
Or
actually.
is it just like the pick of the draw? You'll just do it. You go to do it at one point and you just get shitty weather.
Yeah. But there's a certain sort of... Oh. Okay, so that's what's going on. It certainly looks like it could get stormy very quickly, which is what I'm hoping for. Oh shit. Shit!
It's not very quick things to
No.
turn around.
Oh, optional objectives. They had this in previous games.
Yeah.
They were kind of pre-set out as you started the mission. With this, they'll suddenly sort of pop up or whatever at any particular time.
Okay.
You'll have certain things. Have it, you slags. Obviously you can come to like full stop, put up the sails, and that's kind of like your speed up thing, your acceleration. But it's funny, it has a certain, like I said, coolness factor, and this could have been like a whole game on its own, I think. Oh shit, I should really kind of okay, that was a mistake. Okay, I'm gonna die on this, I think, but
It's not looking good.
no. As you can see, as you're sailing into the wind,
Yeah.
right, one ship left, gotta try and ram it.
Give me a damage report now! Taking down the half sail!
You know what? Sod the optional objective.
Yeah.
There you go. Things you can always replay them,
Yeah, it's true.
but you know, that's awesome. Obviously, if I had more time, I was taking more time, I would have done that.
Yeah.
But I'm busy trying to look cool and failing. But
Awesome.
yeah, so that's the naval missions. Like I said, I would love to see Ubisoft do a pirate game. Yeah.
It could be interesting.
Yeah. So, I mean, I can't wait to like do the whole boarding actions and doing all this and exploring things, and you get all sorts. You get like mines that you have to navigate and all that jazz. You also get mini games.
Gambling.
Yeah. And everything's in pounds.
So,
That's cool. There are several kinds of games. They're all based around checkers of various descriptions, but there's certain other games that are a bit weirder. But this kind of reminds me a bit of Witcher 2, because you could play like the dice poker and the arm wrestling and all that, and you can spend hours doing this.
That's not.
But I'm not going to. See?
Oh shit. It's late, James. Let's get on with this.
Yeah, alright.
Shit. Anyways,
I ain't got time for this.
and nobody got time for that.
But, yes. I'm not sure what else to show you. I mean, I'm not sure I've done a very good job of selling this, but
I don't think you need to. I think you'll do okay.
yeah. I mean, I think Ubisoft obviously can't climb that wall.
No, I guess not. Yeah.
Trying to look for like a rock face that I can climb. It's definitely not this one. But Ubisoft said I think this is their most pre-ordered game.
Yeah, I can quite believe that.
Broke all their records. Pre-orders.
Okay.
There you go.
It's unfortunately one of those franchises I've just not had the time to get into and probably won't.
No.
It's just too much of it to play. It's a bit of a shame really, because I really enjoyed the first game, might play the second one, and I might play on the third one, on Brotherhood. Actually was a lot of fun, so yeah.
I mean, I feel that I would have preferred to have like maybe a couple more days before we did this video, because I just know that there's so much more to see and do. I've shown a very small part of it, and you know, the story missions, although quite constrictive to begin with, because you are very much sort of funneled down a particular path. Ah, one other thing I've got to show you. See how you run through the water? There you go. Oh, that's what I'm going through. Certain things that kind of slow you down, and when you're being chased, and die fox.
Cool. Well, do you want to call it then, or?
Go on then. We'll call it there.
Okay.
I'm just going to end up just playing this and just messing around, I think. So we better stop.
Yeah, this could get a little boring.
Pretty soon. Oh look, there you go. Climbing up a rock.
Cool. I'm glad we hang on for that. So, okay, cool.
So yeah, this is Assassin's Creed 3. It's much better than I made it out to be. We really commented on the models and everything, but what do you think about the overall environment?
It looks good. I mean, that's always something that's been fairly consistently impressive with Assassin's Creed. I remember in the first game, when it first opens up and you're like, holy shit. You know, that whole thing of there's a building or there's something right across in the distance you can only just see, but I could get there and I could climb that. And I could, the possibilities of that was pretty amazing, and they haven't really held back at all. I think with every game, it's from what I can tell, it's you know.
I mean, in the past they've all been very urban. And yeah, it does have urban areas in this, but in the cities you've been before, they've been like ancient cities with tall towers and all that. And America back then didn't really have it, so it's all fairly flat. So
no, it's interesting. I like the direction they've taken with this, and
like
I said, it really is a shame because I actually would really like to play this. So one day maybe I'll finish the second one and maybe muddle through Brotherhood and Revelations, possibly.
Yeah. Definitely Brotherhood. Like I said, you could probably just watch all the cutscenes online for Revelations and get the gist of it.
Maybe,
But no, this one I love it. When I first got it, I had it for a day or two and could not put it down. And this will be where your weapons are at. But no, it's just so... I get drawn into them. There's just so much to do, and get swept along by the story. And you know, the story is really well written, well thought out, and I think it's a lot more contemporary than the other ones have been. Because obviously they've always put the little disclaimers of, oh yeah, this is made by a multicultural team of various races and religions. And in the first game, obviously set in the Middle East, there's the whole Christians versus Muslims thing, which could have caused some offence, but to be honest, the Crusades, they happened. You can't really deny that they happened. You can't deny what happened there. And you know, it was a long time ago. Likewise with the Renaissance and the various things that happened there. They all had events that actually happened, actually documented things, but so long ago that you know, it make no matter. Whereas this, although it was a couple 100 years ago, it was the formative years of America. So in a lot of people, especially a lot of Americans, this game is kind of slightly more relevant to them. And I've spoken, you know, we've got our friends over at the UGN, and I've spoken at length. I've got me some beaver.
For you.
Talked at length about sort of how this will go down with the whole Brits versus Americans and where we stand and all that. And to be honest, I think it's handled in such a way that, you know, it doesn't... Everybody's like been watching it thinking, oh yeah, the Brits are the bad guys, the Brits are the bad guys. But to be honest, we kind of were. And also, this was a British colony back then, or these were British colonies back then, remember, so technically everybody's British at this point in time until the actual Declaration of Independence is signed. So there is all that. I think what will cause some fuss is the DLC that's coming out, the King Washington DLC, the sort of, which I've actually been reading up about, and I have to say, you have to credit these guys. They do know their history, and certain events and everything that they're planned on. Obviously it's fiction, but the way that they can give it just that little bit of fact, just to give it a bit of credibility, is amazing. But obviously with like the DLC, hello dear, the DLC, what they're doing is, what if George Washington wanted to become the king? Now you're sort of thinking, oh, that's a bit kind of, don't know how the Americans will handle that or take to that, but it all stems from British propaganda. They were saying at the time of the war, oh yeah, Washington, he wants to be king, he wants to do all this, he wants to do all that. So all they're doing is, as a completely optional thing, it's not tied to the story, it's non-canon, it's kind of like Undead Nightmare for Red Dead Redemption. It's not part of the story, but it's a sort of a what-if scenario. And they've tied it into something that, again, historically actually happened. So you can't deny the amount of work and the amount of thought that goes into these games, and it really shows off.
Okay then.
But yeah, that's it. I've had my say. Rabbit.
Okay, well that's all we've got time for on this episode of Game Night. Thank you for tuning in. You know, a couple more coming up. I think like Medal of Honor Warfighter and Black Ops 2, I think is the next one, which is going to be sort of released around the 13th, 14th of November. So just over a week's time. And then we've got Far Cry 3 at the end of the month. I think that's about it. I don't think we're doing any more. And those are literally the last videos we're going to be doing as Games for All. So we're kind of really wrapping things up. So kind of it won't get emotional. It'll be fine. So yeah, no, thank you for tuning in and joining us for this episode. And we will be back with a double episode next time, Medal of Honor Warfighter, which has already been out for quite a while, but we figured we'd cover it. It's going to be our first-person shooters, double bill, special fun time, or whatever. I don't know.
Special fun time.
Special fun. Special does not sound at all appropriate for what this is going to be. Anyway, all right. Thank you for tuning in. Check out our website or our blog, even Tumblr blog. Sorry, throwing me with that whole thing. thegamesforallpodcast.tumblr.com. And check out our YouTube channel, which you probably are doing at the moment. youtube.com/gamesforallpodcast, and we're on Facebook, facebook.com/gamesforallpodcast. Check us out on Twitter @gamesforall. I think that pretty much covers everything. We do have an email address if you are interested. It's thegamesforallpodcast@gmail.com. We don't really give that out too much, but you know, figured we might as well on this occasion. And
you're running out of time to email us.
Yeah, true. And like I mentioned at the beginning of the show, check out a Halloween special that we did. It was live and it was amazing, and it was the fucking most fun I think I've had shooting anything, you know, because it was pretty hectic. We kind of, you know, it was a mad rush to get everything done in between.
It was indeed the dog's bollocks.
Okay. And hopefully we'll insert a few little clips from that, just to kind of wet your whistle. Anyway, thanks for tuning in, and we'll be back soon. Adios. Is that loud enough for you? But you got another move. We good? Come on. It's alright. It's alright, it's fine. It's not... So I've got to this little building here, and he appears in the doorway just as you get there and completely fucks you over. Right! So he's basically teleported somewhere very close to us. He really doesn't seem that bothered about me, which is kind of fucking weird. Waiting for me, that's why. So maybe if I turn around, like abruptly. Fuck! Baldy fudge pepper! There he is.